The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series just crowned their champion. It didn't come without its controversy, so let's talk about this. Spoilers ahead. Christian Eckes wins the race. Of course, he was no longer in contention for a championship heading into this race, so kind of stings a little bit for that race team. But the driver that did win this championship in the 5th position was Ben Rhodes. He is now a 2-time champion in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He is the youngest multi-champion the series has. Finishing right behind him in the 6th position is Grant Enfinger. He raced Rhodes very clean on those last few laps of that overtime finish because we had multiple overtimes. We had multiple cautions in this race. It was a long one. I'm recording this now at 1:14 in the morning, so it is late. I am tired, but great on Enfinger to race him clean to the end. I think if there was one more lap, I think he would have had him. Sucks to see GMS not able to end their time in the Truck Series with the championship, but they got to be proud of the ride that Grant Enfinger gave them. Now, the main talking point here, and why I'm sure all of you are watching this video, is what happened to the other 2 championship contenders in Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim. And let me tell you, it is drama city. Carson Hocevar seems to go really deep into the corner, makes contact with the bumper of Heim, spins him out. You can see from here as well, he looks pretty distraught about it. Media talked to Carson Hocevar after the race, and he seemed very remorseful, according to Jeff Gluck. He feels terrible that he robbed Heim of his title because he had one of the best trucks of all of the playoff contenders, and Hocevar said there's nothing he can say to convince people because of his track record, but he was simply trying too hard. This was not intentional on his end. Unfortunately for Hocevar, I don't believe that Corey Heim thought this was unintentional, and if he thought it was unintentional, he was still pretty upset about it because around lap 58, this happens. Corey Heim runs Hocevar up the track and into the wall. Now, this appears like payback. It appears pretty intentional, and Alan Cavana actually caught up with Corey Heim after the race and kind of confronted him on this, and here's what Corey Heim had to say.
Well, the only person who really knows is me, so that's all that really matters.
So there's that. In my opinion, it looked intentional, but obviously if there's going to be no admittance of guilt, we can't say either way. Corey Heim is right. He's the only one that knows what really happened, so that's the only thing that really matters in this situation. If you don't admit your guilt, you don't get a penalty or a fine. So these drivers have learned by now, but what a championship race. This really didn't feel like a championship race at all. Let's be clear. It was messy, it was chaotic, and to some fans, that's great. For somebody like me who was looking for a clean and hard-fought race for a championship, this just wasn't it for me. The last few laps of this race, though, were really solid between Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes' fight for that championship. It came down to seconds. So that was a saving grace for this race that was otherwise pretty disastrous, messy, and quite frankly, embarrassing. And I say this with love for the Truck Series. I do love the Truck Series, but this championship race did not feel championship caliber. With all that said, though, I am happy for Ben Rhodes. Congrats on his 2nd championship. Now the Truck Series is in its off season, and we will look forward to Daytona in February.